All right, it's happening. It is the Bite Me podcast, and we are ready to go. We got the whole gang in studio here, well, in their respective studios, and we got a lot to cover. A lot to cover. Some good stuff happening. Good questions. One particular one that I'm interested in hearing what the boys have to say. I'm John Lopez. That is Captain Caleb McCumber. That is Captain Dean Thomas, and that is Captain Scott Null. This is the Bite Me podcast. Of course, you need to subscribe if you haven't already. We really appreciate it. You can join the thousands of other people who have joined us all over the country, really all over the world, if you look at the analytics. And just subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to join the Bite Me group page, which is ever important this week. And we'll get to that in a little bit. We're not going to lead with the frenzy because there's something that ties directly into our big event, the Feeding Frenzy, which we've got some details on. But how's everybody doing? I'm going to start with the where you were and how you did and what you noticed, because I think a lot of people are always interested in that. And then we'll get into some other stuff here. But Caleb, I actually was texting with the guys. I didn't really text with you about what your week was like, what you're seeing, how you did, and what you noticed.
Man, I believe it or not, what I did this week was stuff like Bible study and things like that. But
hold on. What's going on here?
Hey, I'm full of surprises, John.
Dean is skeptical, to say the least.
But, hey, man,
I don't want to use Jesus' name in vain and call you a liar, but
I'm just glad I'm not sitting next to him. There's lightning coming.
You just might explode into a ball of flames. You literally got the side eye from Dean. But go on. What happened?
I learned about Ecclesiastes. I can't say it. I can't spell it, but it's after Proverbs. I learned about that this morning.
Okay, good.
But I was eyeballing that north wind, and I told all them dudes sitting there that, man, if I wasn't here, I think I'd be out in the beachfront in front of a pass right now.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't confirmed it on social media, but I'd imagine it's been all right. I think is this cool down is going to be huge, especially in the shallow water. Start getting some big tides coming in and out and just cool the water off some. I don't think it's going to be on fire back there, but there might be a sign of life.
Where are you talking about?
I'm talking about just back marshes from Fort Lavaca to Sabine. Drop that water back down, man. Get some good in and outers. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll at least start them thinking about it. We're not at the fall season by any means, but anything better than 94 degrees.
Yeah. And Dean, that's exactly, I actually put that in the notes that I sent you guys. There was a little nip in the air yesterday and today. Today, here where I am in Houston, it got down to 60 in the air. A little nip in the air. 64.
It didn't make it to us.
No.
It was the hottest damn north wind you ever felt today.
All of our hot air just blew down on top of Dean.
That's right. It hadn't gotten there yet.
No. And as far as like going anywhere near a pass, we had like 25-mile-an-hour north wind yesterday. That was still 90-something degrees for about 5 minutes in the morning on the ride out. It was I was like, man, the weather's changing. But
there you go.
As soon as we got around the corner, it just turned to hot wind. Today was a little less wind, but still quite challenging for fishing the flats. Dragging 3 drift socks to slow it down.
Oh, it was that strong.
Yeah. I mean, it's windy. And then, I mean, our tide is a flatliner. I mean, it's high, but we don't have any fluctuation in the tide. So maybe there's an anticipation for coming up in the future, a little something. But no, we didn't have no nip in the air. We had north wind and full moon. And I hate to be too pessimistic. Today was way better than the past 2 days, production-wise, on catching big fish. So, but it's hot. And our forecast for the rest of this week has 105-degree heat index for every day.
I was just going to ask you because full moon, coming off the full moon anyway, a little windy, flat tide. You must be good, man. You caught some fish today. I noticed that. What worked?
It was top water drifting, the grass beds, too windy to get to the drop-offs and do anything like that, for speckled trout action. But I mean, I had some guys on the boat. Actually, the last couple of days, everybody, I mean, fish good, stand there for hours and hours and just keep casting, and just nonstop, relentless pursuit paid off with the fish that we caught. They were not easy, was not fast and furious. I mean, it was a grinder is the only way to describe it. You know, fishing to the bitter end, just nonstop work.
In a weird way, I kind of like those days where you grind it out but get the payoff. But to me, that in a weird way, that's kind of my favorite. You know, it's almost validating, you know, that you're doing something right. You're finding them, you're grinding, and all that.
And I like to show up in like the first 2 minutes, have a fish hooked up, and at least one every 10 to 15 minutes throughout the day.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying the validation, the satisfaction,
the ones that I like.
Of course, I'm not taking paying customers out. I can just BS my way through the whole thing.
Y'all work paying customers too.
What's that?
So we do that with paying customers too.
Yeah, just BS your way through everything. So Scott,
and it requires more BS on the other day.
Yeah, you got to tell your best stories. No nip in the air, Scott. Nothing.
No.
It was like downright. You could feel it. 64.
It was glorious up here in the northern country.
It really was.
Yeah, should have
calling hyperbole on that.
No. I double checked. I said, "Well, I wonder what it is," and I checked. And it was 64.
That's right just nicer than saying bullshit.
Sense in hyperbole. Did you get? I know you got out some this week though.
Oh yeah, got out there. Like Dean said, following that, or hell, it was right on the full moon. Now we had a lot of storms towards the end of the week. They were just scattered again and blowing in, blowing out. And so I had a guy that he'd been trying to fish with me since 2020.
Since 2020?
Yeah. He put a deposit down in 2020, and we've got.
That's got to be a record.
Well, we had COVID, and then he was scheduled to fish with me, and I blew my shoulder out like 2 days before we were supposed to fish. So that put me out for 12 months. Jeez. And then something else happened, and the next time he had a tropical storm. I mean, it's just been every time I told him he needed to go to New Orleans and get with the witchy lady over there.
Yeah, a little voodoo action.
Yeah, do a little voodoo and sacrifice a chicken or two and come back and see me. He was supposed to come out Friday, then we changed it to Saturday, then we changed it to Sunday, just trying to avoid the winds and all that. Sunday, they said, oh, yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to have a little north wind. Surf's going to lay down. That was hyperbole.
Bullshit.
It came straight northeast right down the beach. It didn't start until we got down the beach, though. So
you were already there.
We were a good way southwest, kind of in the direction that I'd been finding my fish, and they were gone, by the way. Did not find them. And then the northeast wind started up, and we took a little bit of a butt whooping coming back. So, yeah, it's kind of been my week. Dodging storms, getting wet, and getting beat up pretty good.
Oh wow! Okay, get everybody book them now.
Yeah, it was a great week.
That number again. That number
today,
again,
boys.
It sucked. I sucked.
Hey, it can only go up from here.
Yeah, next week's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, should have been here tomorrow. Should have been.
Yeah. One thing that I will add to the thought process, that after the last couple of days, I was prepared to hyperbole my ass off today. And I was trying, because I mean, there's days that you go out with great expectations, and then after a couple, you have realistic expectations. And as we're loading up the boat this morning, of course, everybody has, how's the fishing been? What's been going on, man?
Yeah.
Everybody's fired up, and I don't want to build up unreal expectations. And so I was just explaining, it's been tough, man, and I was hyperboleing pretty good about the full moon and such as that. And then we ended up with some great fish before the day's over. So we've talked about that before, how your expectations can be one thing, but you go out there, you go through the motions, and every day is a new day. So
See,
we'll
there,
see what
wasn't it
tomorrow.
satisfying? Wasn't it
We'll see
satisfying?
what.
A little sense
Oh
of
man,
satisfaction.
dude, when those fish started blowing up today, you ain't never seen anybody so
Yeah.
damn happy as I was.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
And
about.
that's no hyperbole.
And that's no hyperbole.
Yeah, Sunday was the damn jacks wouldn't even cooperate
Uh-huh.
on Sunday. I mean, I
Hey,
could
we
see
sat
'em.
through some lightning. Scott was talking about the storms that blew in, which John, you were involved in one of those.
I got involved in one, and we're actually
okay. Yeah, that's the day you were still here.
We're gonna get into that. That became a topic because by the hair of my chinny chin chin, and then you ended up the next day getting caught out there. We'll get to that today. Scott, I'm glad you brought up the jackfish because I didn't put it on the rundown, but you know you're not a biologist, but you play one on the podcast. I just got a text because I get all this nonsense on my phone because I'm sick. Louisiana is going to shut down or has shut down their greater amberjack federal season, and they're thinking about shutting down the greater amberjack season period until 2026. I don't know if you saw this because I just got it on my phone. I just not even 5 minutes before we turn on these mics, and I was like, and it was because they're quote unquote overfished. I didn't know amberjack were overfished. I know, and then, so I looked at Texas. Texas obviously has the limit of 1 and possession limit 2. I mean, did you know this? I mean, are amberjack overfished? Not on the rundown, but I'm just curious because you would be my go-to on this.
I don't know if they're overfished or not. I mean, they're pretty good ways out, but and there's seasons on them. So I never had a problem going out and catching an amberjack in the past, but it's been a few years since I've done it. I don't know how hard they're getting hit with that, that short season. That's one of the things about having a season on fish like that, on snapper and on amberjack and grouper, all that. When there is a season, guys go out and just hammer on them.
Oh yeah,
it's just open all the time. We caught our amberjack.
Yeah,
they don't go out and specifically target them, like they do when there's a short season.
It's an interesting point.
I don't know if it's doing any good or not to have seasons.
Well, I'm glad they're protecting those amberjack and not dealing with those pesky pogies or bull reds.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Yeah, every time you mention Louisiana,
I feel like we got something else to worry about over there. But
yeah, I feel like you're right. I was just curious about that.
But they can only regulate out 8 miles.
8 or 9 miles, whatever it is.
9 miles.
9 miles. Yeah. So
I imagine over there you can do a bit of amberjack fishing in 9 miles. I'm not really an offshore.
It said you could. Yeah, it said you could
get to them pretty quick out there.
Out of Venice, I think is what it said.
Yeah,
that there's a bunch up there. But anyhow, so I got three of my best friends sitting in front of me, and I got a question for you guys. Has your significant other ever asked you to maybe be a little more vulnerable, a little more, a little bit more? Not touchy-feely. What's the word? I'm vulnerable.
Laughing so hard.
In your feelings. Has your significant other asked you to maybe
what
express?
What the hell does this have to do with?
I'm getting somewhere. Express your feelings a little better.
Does vulnerable mean pick up your shit and not forget what you said? Because yes, that's the answer.
That is not what it means.
Oh.
I'm getting somewhere. Scott, I know Camille tells you, I just wish you were a little more vulnerable sometimes, a little more able to express your feelings.
No, not really. She don't really want to know what I'm feeling most of the time.
I think Dean's the only one here that got a wife that even wants to talk to him.
That's right. Of the four of us, Dean might be the only one that actually has conversations with his wife.
And that's 50-50.
Well, they ain't married, so there's that.
Yeah. That's about half of what I have to say is usually
hyperbole.
Hyperbole. Yeah.
All right,
but anyway, what the hell is your point?
All right. See,
now that we're getting all sensitive
getting
all emotional.
No. This is called being a radio professional and getting you thinking the right way.
Man.
For the first big topic here. And it has to do with the healing powers of fishing. The healing powers of fishing. And we can get into the group page post here by Mark Anthony, and shout out Alex Kozlowski. But I want to have a discussion about it too. I want you guys to be vulnerable and express your feelings. So the post was this. It really was touching. If I can say touching, can I say touching on this podcast? Anyway, the story is his life changed last year. His oldest son was diagnosed with a rare disease, compounded with a rare cancer. Left his job to come to Texas to help him. And Alex Kozlowski, had hired him, accommodated his schedule, doctors, treatments, etc. Son passed away less than a year shortly after his 26th birthday. And after all the stuff, he gave him a couple of bonuses, so to speak, a pen reel and a Waterloo Salinity personalized rod, a Daiwa Coastal reel. And he said, this might not be the right avenue, but I'm asking if you guys could thank him on the show. He's addicted to the show. I think I'm going to save some money and book a trip with Dean or Scott. Sorry, Caleb.
Anyone. I'm not. There's no thanks coming from up here.
Et cetera, et cetera. And I believe, Scott, if I remember reading this correctly, you already offered him a trip, correct?
Well, that was supposed to be the surprise today for Mr. Alex.
Well, there you go. Give us the surprise.
Yeah, I talked to Mark, and he had talked about wanting to book a trip and do all that, and given what he's been through, and as nice as Alex has been to him, as good as he's been to him, I said, why don't you two figure out a day in November and come get on the front end of the Poland skiff, and I'll pull y'all around for the day.
Yeah. So that is a good deal by you. Alex. Very good and important story there. It's why I call the podcast a community more than anything. So now, here's where you guys have to be vulnerable, okay? When has the water been your best therapy? And I'm going to set it up with one of mine because my brother was ended up being deathly ill, and I took him out fishing. And this is when I had my boat and trailer in Sabine, and it was a bad day. It was nasty water, a lot of fresh water, no expectations as we've been talking about. But I wanted to take him out, before he passed, and I took my brother out. And we went to the far, I guess that would be the northeast corner. There's always been some redfish and trout that I've liked up there, et cetera. And it was awful, just awful. We were out there 5 or 6 hours. He was already tired. He was on his medications, et cetera. And right before I said, all right, I guess, it's not going to happen, he hooked a big old trout. And I mean, not like a monster 30-incher, but it was a good 24, 25-inch trout. Made his day, unbelievable. And so we come in. I took pictures of him with the trout, and so there we go. About 2 or 3 weeks later, he actually did die, and I was in Sabine on the weekend by myself with Gibson. And my wife told me, and she goes, "Well, I'll be there in a little bit. Or are you coming home?" I said, "I'll come home tomorrow." And I just got in the boat. I was, upset and all that stuff, sad. I got in the boat and just took off, in the boat, just to clear my head. And I actually went straight to that one spot, to that one single spot where he caught that one single fish, and just freaking hammered the trout. Like hammered. One of the all-time great, probably 50 trout, a lot of good trout. And when I was on my way home, I marked that spot, Manuals, because my brother's name is Manuel. I said Manuals. And that was I'm actually kind of tearing up right now. That was one of the most amazing things of my life. And so that's what you're doing, Scott. That's my story. So I wanted to ask you guys, when has water been your best therapy? Scott?
The whole time I worked in homicide. Yeah, it was, I'd get some rough cases, dead baby, another police officer got killed, had a autopsy where 2 firemen had gotten killed in an arson, a bunch of those kind of deals. And there was one point where they kind of piled on me and got all of them in one day. And so I took off, and Camille was always really good about it. She could kind of figure it out when I was not quite right. Mm-hmm. And I had that 21 shallow sport back then. Terry Neal was a guy down in Mansfield, and I got with Terry, and I gave Camille his number and said, if anything happens with the kids, you need me for something, Terry will know where I'm at. And I got with Terry, I told him where I was going to be camped out, and I went and stayed 3 days on the boat with a tarp and didn't talk to anybody, didn't see anybody. It was before cell phones, and brought my kayak down there, parked the boat, climbed in the kayak every day and just paddled around with a fly rod, caught a bunch of fish, and slept out there and stared at the stars.
Yeah.
And got my mind right, and I'd come back. But I'd do that all the time. Whether it was a deer lease and going bow hunting, or going out on the water and just staying out there by myself and not talking to anybody. That kept me grounded through all that stuff in homicide.
No, I mean, we laugh and we kid and we enjoy having a great time on this podcast. But Caleb, you know, it is a therapy. It is one of those things. I actually told Dean this the other day. You know, a lot of people say, well, I don't care if we catch fish or not. I'm just happy to be out here. And a lot of times that's hyperbole. but in my case, it's actually true. And I think a lot of it is because, you know, memories with my dad, memories like that I just shared with my brother. When has water been your best therapy?
Man, I know this is going to come hard to believe, but I struggle with a bit of anxiety, and I can make every molehill a mountain. Scott and Camille really won't believe that thing. But it doesn't matter how little of a light thing it is. It eats me up inside. You know, it could be worried about finance, worried about whatever. The stuff that wakes you up at 6 a.m. And
yeah,
I've got the charts to show that my resting heart rate is 68 or so. And in the first 30 seconds I wake up, it goes to 100 because I'm anxious and freaking out about something.
God almighty.
I do it every day. But whenever I get out on the water, it all goes away because I'm focused on something. So I'd say, you know, dang near every time I'm on it, because there's some days when I'm on it and I'm not worried about something, but those are few and far between. It don't take much. I mean, I don't have any, you know, my dad fished here stories or nothing like that, but it's just a mild piece of making the negative voices quieter, and I don't even know if I say the positive voices louder. I think all the voices just shut the hell up and start helping me look for a fish.
I think you're right. And Dean, I'm curious on yours now, and certainly our listeners are on the live stream here, which you can subscribe to, of course, are weighing in. And I'm sure our listeners on the podcast will weigh in as well. But Dean, I'll take it to the point of, as soon as I make the turn off of 59 in Tivoli and turn left to start, you know, that last little chunk on the way to Aransas Pass, I can just feel it. What about you when water was a therapy?
Man, the water has been lifelong therapy for me. And it actually, the reason my guide service is named Slow Ride Guide Services is because in high school, I had high school friends that were killed in car accidents, actually 2 separate incidents. And so during those years, we would visit the cemetery where they were buried, and we would pull up there. And so we were a child of the 80s. Of course, we would play slow ride and just hang out with them as if they were there. So when I started my guide business, I actually named it Slow Ride Guide Services as a tribute to my friends who were no longer with me. That if I was going to get to enjoy what I do as much as I do, I kind of wanted to include them in that. And so that is, it started then. And even more recently, last year, lost my brother-in-law to cancer, who was a lifelong fishing buddy of mine. I mean, I knew him since I was in junior high school. We grew up together, raised our kids together, fished together for as long as we could. And then lost my mother just 2-3 months after that, who she took me fishing and was always a part of fishing as a child. So, man, there's not a day that goes by that when I'm on the water that I am not reminded or thinking of those people that are not with me.
It's amazing, and I'm loving the stories that are coming in. I'm sure we'll love the ones after we post this. But here's the other thing, and it's going to lead into our feeding frenzy discussion, because that's frankly the entire reason I had the idea to come up with it now 3 years ago. But I'm curious, and Dean, I'll actually start with you on this, because all three of you, I'm sure, have similar stories. What about when you're captaining, maybe even just complete strangers that booked you, heard you on this podcast or wherever, came on the boat, and you could tell you could tell that trip meant more than just catching fish. Dean, I'll start with you.
Man, when you're out there, I mean, we share a lot of stories. You have a lot of time to talk, and you do hear different reasons for why they're out there. There's also been several occasions where people have brought ashes of their loved ones because their wish was to have their ashes spread in the bay or spread at a time that meant so much to the family. Many people also venture to the water just for soul searching purposes. I mean, they're drawn to the edge of the water to reflect on all types of challenges in life. And I mean, you see them down here along the causeway. I mean, on occasions, you'll see somebody with a car just parked at the water. They're just sitting there leaning up against it, staring out there, just looking at the sky, looking at the water. And you can just tell that they're in one of those moments where they're looking for an answer for something. And the water, for some reason, does attract people that are in a challenging time in life just to go and sit and think about things and look at the water.
Scott?
Yeah, Camille just pulled up a deal from the science behind Heroes on the Water. It's on their website. And the therapeutic program did some studies, and 95% reported increase in stress management skills, 90% reported increase in self-efficacy, which that's soul searching, and 91% reported a positive impact on their personal relationships. And that's coming straight from the veterans and first responders who've been involved in Heroes on the Water, and just getting them out there on the water in a kayak and hanging out. I mean, I don't know what it is about it, but it sure does good for the soul. I can't tell you how many trips I've had over the last 20 years where I was told ahead of time that this is Dad's last trip. This is my uncle's last trip. And I've taken quite a few of those. Some of them we've had a hard time even getting them in and out of the boat. Just getting them situated on the boat, and they don't even get up. They don't cast. They just sit and watch the son or the nephew or whoever fish. It's cool, but it's hard, at the same time, because you know where everybody's head's at, and you're just hoping that you can make it into a good day for them.
Yeah. How about you, Caleb?
Man, I'm not going to get too into the details, but a while back, I just randomly invited a friend of mine that I'd never invited fishing with me once. And we went out and had a pretty good day. And at the end of the day, he was, telling me how he had been going through some really rough times. And that day he needed it, and it picked him up and might have changed his minds on some crazy decisions. And I didn't see that coming. And God works in mysterious ways on stuff like that.
Yeah. So I promise we will laugh on this episode like we laugh on every episode, but I thought it was important simply because of that. Because of that, the post that was on Facebook. Maybe this will make you laugh. Dean, I've actually told my family that I want my ashes spread on the water, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you choose where to spread them.
I'm gonna spread them on that engine block where you broke the back of your motor.
Put some there.
On that little shrimp boat wreck.
Put some on a top water.
Your eternal resting place right there.
This is the wrong podcast, John, but do you mind if we kind of dilute your ashes a little bit with some of those pellet smoker ashes?
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great. The Bite Meat podcast. Yes, a little bit of that. Put some on the engine block, put some on a popping cork, put some on a top water, and I'm good. I'm good to go. Well, and I said that's going to be the lead in. I do want to give an update on the feeding frenzy here, and then get into some other topics, including those funny looking clouds that we saw last weekend. But we are less than 2 weeks away from the feeding frenzy. I haven't gotten the latest. I probably will today or tomorrow. RSVPs. But we are over 380 RSVPs. over $14,000 raised for on the raffle already. And I want to mention, because this is important, $14,000. I think it's $50 a ticket, and that's what 200 and somebody help me out here, 70-ish tickets, 272, something like that. So you have a 1 in 272 chance to win a 60,000, whatever it is, boat, the Freedom Patriot 19-footer with the coastline trailer and the Suzuki motor, plus thousands of dollars of other raffles that we're going to draft. We're going to have like 4 or 5 raffle drawings. Of course, the rest of them are going to come after the boat. We don't want not anybody to be eligible for the boat by their ticket being pulled. What is it?
That's 280.
280 tickets. That's it so far.
Wow.
1 in 280 chance to win that, and thousands of dollars of other raffles. Then we're going to have the silent auction stuff, which is pretty dang incredible. I actually saw the kayak this weekend that is going to be raffled in the live auction, and it's a bad boy. It's a bad boy. It really is, or girl, whatever you want to call it. Other stuff in the live auction is going to be a trip to Costa Rica. If you've been wanting to go, not the airfare, but everything else, you can bid on that. Trips with Caleb, Dean, and Scott, which of course are going to be incredible, including lodging. And Dean's, I believe Dean's is going to have use of a golf cart for the entire weekend as well. So you can have the golf cart and the trip with Dean and accommodations. Those are on the live auction. And then silent auction stuff. And I'm looking at a pile here. I've taken a big old pile of stuff down to Aransas Pass, put it in storage already. I know all 3 of you guys have stuff that we're going to bring down to Aransas Pass. So less than 2 weeks, September 20th. Anybody seen the long range forecast yet? Scott, again, we're going to turn to you. Have you seen anything on September 20th?
I'm not looking that far ahead. It ain't been right more than 2 or 3 days right now. Yeah. It's and of course, casting contest with a 50-50 pool for everybody who's at the frenzy. You're going to be able to put, I think it's $20 in any of these guys' buckets, and if they win, you get half of the money that is of all 3 buckets. You're going to get half. And
just to let everybody know, they don't have to be present to win the boat.
No. The raffle, a lot. Yeah, the raffle, the boat raffle, you do not have to be present to win. You can buy online and all that stuff.
Buy some tickets.
Yeah, all that stuff is on the Facebook group page. Sometimes I call them the pinned posts that are at the top of the page. I think sometimes on your phone they just call them featured posts, but you can get there. It's easy to navigate. So yeah, man, very excited. I'm running around with my head cut off. I got like 5 places I got to go this week to pick up some stuff, but it's all for a good cause. And back to how we started this. Texas Boys Outdoors. They take Shriners kids out fishing. I'm sure you've seen some of the videos, as well as first responders and veterans. Obviously, Heroes on the Water does that. We just heard from Scott talking about that. It's going to be a big time. We're going to have 500 people. I've been exchanging emails with coasters down where it's going to be down in Aransas Pass. We're going to have the food for everybody. The first 200, we pay for the food. After that's just $15, and that'll cover it. That's all we care about. We're going to have some special events, maybe a couple of special announcements that even Caleb, Scott, and Dean don't know about yet, but that's my little secret. And all kinds of fun stuff. Drinks, you're paying for the drinks. I don't want that liability, but we'll pay for the meals. One more thing. We're going to have what I thought was one 6-passenger golf cart, but we're actually going to have another golf cart, a 4-passenger, donated by Dean, that are going to be, because there's going to be a lot of parking. You may not know this. Carrie texted us.
Based on the look on his face, he did not know that.
So we're going to have 2.
Where are we going to get that?
2 golf carts to transport people to park. There's plenty of parking, but sometimes you got to park up the street. So 2 golf cart transports in case there's anybody that just wants a ride, or elderly, or whatever it might be. So very excited. Caleb, you've been kind of looking like you want to say something.
No, I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm.
I always want to say something, but it ain't stuff I should say on here.
Okay.
Hey, has anybody heard from Flash? Is he invited?
Flash is invited. That might be one of the special events. That might be one,
Yeah.
a little octagon going.
Screw the casting contest.
That's right. Dean's face. Somebody just texted Chef Gonzo. What? It's like my golf cart. We're using my golf. Yeah, we're using your golf cart. Talk to Carrie about that. So, all right. Do you want to go to the law and the spirit of the law, or funny looking clouds?
Let's go to the law and the spirit of the law for 400.
All right. There's the law, and you get to answer first since you were the first to answer there. There's the law, and then there's the spirit of the law. Let's talk lights, and including especially we're talking about those what do they call the bar lights? The
Light bar.
Yeah, light bar. There was a post on the group page about this. When to use them, navigating primary waterways, not seeing another boat. It's one thing. If you have your light and you need it. Caleb, how do you feel just in general? What should our listeners know about light bars?
I wish I had that Charlie Robinson song, Bar Light, Bar Bright, queued up right now. That'd be good. I think the spirit of the law and the law is the same dang thing. Big, bright white lights facing forward. And I think there were some questions about the barges and the people running spotlights, and those aren't fixed. They're moving around and everything. And somebody said something about, well, what about when the barge blasts you? They're typically blasting you because you hit them with a light bar. I know this answer. and they will knock you right out of your boat with that thing. I think that there's an argument to be made for safety with those things. I think if you're running across a bay or something, and you need them on for, PVC poles and that kind of stuff and everything, it makes perfect good sense to use them. I think running them whenever you don't need them doesn't make much sense. And even most of the time in the intercoastal, in the dark, unless it's just a new moon, you can see better without that bar on than with it on. At least I can. I can see the shine on the water. I can see dark things coming at me. I turn on a light bar. I'm glared out from the floor of my boat. I can see as far as that light reaches, but I'll flip it off and on every now and again to check for reflectors. But as far as the spirit of the law and the law, it's the same damn thing. Now I get it that the law is made because a white light is supposed to mark the back of a boat. So you see a white light, that means there's a boat in front of you going away from you. And when there's the portable star coming at you, it quite obviously isn't the back of the boat. But I've been told that they can write you a ticket for each bulb in that bar. So if you got 36 bulbs in that light bar, they can get you for 36 counts of whatever it is. I've never heard anybody getting a ticket for it, but at the end of the day, don't run it when you don't need it. Have a good damn excuse whenever you do have it on.
Can we have law versus common sense discussion here?
Yeah.
Because the law is what it is. But if you're going, if you see another boat coming at you, you've got to know you're blinding them with the light. And I mean, I use mine periodically, just like Caleb said. I'll cut it on for a second, but it really does affect your night vision. So if you turn it on and you're staring at this white light, everything is lit up. When you turn that thing off, you're blinded. You can't see shit. If you are running with it on, but there is just a common sense time to use it, and then there's a common sense time to not. If a boat is coming at you, you've got to know you're blinding them. I mean, those things are ridiculously bright. The reflection off the water coming up can be as bright as the light. If it's shining at the water, it is reflecting off the water in their face as well. And the barges and stuff, I mean, the barge is a spotlight. A light bar is beaming a wide angle across the entire horizon. I mean, it's not shooting just a spotlight. And the barges are using them to locate the next markers. Absolutely critical for those guys. But totally agree with Caleb. If you're running in the dark, once your eyes get adjusted, you can see just as good, and I would almost even say better than running the light bar continuously. If you're coming up to an island, if you're about to hit a narrow pass, if you're pinpointing a turn, cut it on, hit your turn, then turn the thing off. But, you know, anytime you're shining in it in another boat coming at you, you've got to have more sense than that.
So
the
Scott,
offenders we're talking about are the ones that turn the light bar on in the marina.
yes.
Oh no, yeah, that was what I said also the other day. It's like the most ludicrous thing is people that are running light bars in the harbor. But I don't know. They think, you know, they paid so much money for this damn light and it's dark and I'm going to turn it on. And then here's another one. The disco lights that are inside the boat.
Easy. Hey, eat next. Scott, what do you think about all this?
Go ahead, Dean.
Go ahead on, Scott.
Dean? Go ahead, Dean. I got disco lights.
It is not.
Mine change colors and waves and beat with the music.
If you're tied up at the yacht club and everybody is got the music on and man, party lights, I'm all about it. But
nice pivot.
Running across the bay with your little blinking lights and lit up inside the boat, that is not helping.
Going, yeah, I do that.
That is not.
Listen, Linda, if I'm on the water and it's dark, okay, something has happened. Whether it's early in the morning, Larry Higgins has really taught me into something dumb, or it's after dark in the evening and I've been in a situation all evening, I'm going to enjoy my lights, dude. And when I turn mine on, Dean, inside my motor, every hole in my motor glows and blinks.
I've seen it.
I'm unicorn part right out of my exhaust when I turn my lights on.
And so
and the water glows too, Dean.
The lights, like the underwater and the engine lights in the back when it's running and that spray's lit up, that's cool. But and the floor under the console, all the disco lights
what about
inside
under a
the
mid
boat
tower where you can see even
absolutely no sense at all.
My I look like
it's
a
the same dude
across the bay, dude.
It's the same dude
Scott's
that wants the entire bay to listen to his music, look at my pretty lights, look at my light bar, but that compensates for not catching fish. I guess.
Show me on this top water where the man with lights touched you at. Because I know Dean well enough. This is directed at one or two people. He don't care that much about the lights.
So Scott has been patiently waiting with a smile on his face. I do got to tell you a couple stories here before I get your take on these lights, etc. So the other day, it's been about 3 or 4 weeks now. I put on my party lights in the marina. Once we pull out, I turn them off. But Dean was with me, and so I immediately put on Highway to the Danger Zone as loud as I could, and we're cruising down toward the bay, down the channel, and then I promise you, there were no boats in front of us. And as we throttled up, I said, "You could put the light bar on right here," and I turned it on for a second, and he turned to me, he goes, "No." Dean was like, no.
People know me around there.
I
cannot be associated with that kind of behavior.
To be fair, I thought you were going to make that short cut that you do, but in the shallow water.
Yeah.
I said, "You can turn the light on right here." He goes, "No." So Scott, what are your thoughts?
I had the trifecta this week. I left out of the sanctuary where I'm keeping my boat over at Jimmy's house. I run down to the fishing center and pick my customer up. And as I pulled out of there, I start running and I'm looking up ahead of me. I'm like, what the hell is that up in front of me? It's pink, and then it's blue, and then it's yellow, and then it's pink again. And
it's glorious.
It's all different colors. And I come up by, I'm running a little quicker than he was. And I've got a light bar. I do not use it. I've turned it on a couple of times. This shit blinds me. I mean, it reflects off the front end of the boat, and I mean, I can see the water. Okay, yeah, that's great, but I can't see anything beyond that light. I have no idea what's coming. And so anyway, I'm driving along there, and I finally caught up with it, and it was a boat. I may have been Caleb. It was running with all these disco lights on and shit. Stereo was
Feel
playing.
good, feel good, play good, baby. Prime time. Yeah.
It was 6 a.m. and there was, I mean, they were rocking, and it was ridiculous. And then I got past them, and as soon as I got past them, I get blinded by the spotlights from another boat coming the other way. It couldn't have been Caleb going both ways, but I got a light bar in my eyes. And then as I flipped my light bar on, kind of like flip your brights on. I flipped it on and off, and he turned it off immediately. Then I realized why he had his light bar on.
No navigation.
No lights.
Yeah.
None.
I've seen that a couple times.
Nothing. Not a red, not a green, not a, nothing on the stern, nothing. And he would flip it on every now and then as he was coming towards me. I guess just to let me know where he was. But I had the sunrise coming up on the far side. It was a little pink in the
silhouette.
But as soon as I got past him, there's a kayak with no light going.
Get a light, dumbass.
Paddling dead straight across the intercoastal, just as I got into Port O'Connor. I mean, he's cutting right straight across, and the voice of Dean was in my head. Get a light, dumbass.
You should have gave it to him. You should have gave him.
It was the perfect trifecta of stupid.
So the cliff notes here is if you have a light, it pisses us off. If you don't have a light, it pisses us off.
This is true.
Well, that's what he just had in the rundown. There's the law and the spirit of the law.
Yeah.
The law says a red, a green on the bow, and a white on the stern that's 360 degrees visible. That don't mean one of them little shorties on the top of a motor and then your console blocks it and all that stuff.
Let's just kick Caleb in the nuts today, ain't it?
Get your light up high, Caleb, so that it can be seen all the way around.
I will sympathize with over in Louisiana, I use my light bar more because you're running down them little narrow channels with poles and poles. There's I guess there's areas where it makes more sense to use them. I will say that my mid tower, the way it's set up, the folding burn bar, I firmly believe there's certain angles you can't see my red and blues from, or my red and greens from, and my boat does light up like a Christmas tree, but there is method to the madness where.
There's not. No, there's not.
You can see that unicorn fart coming, whether the red and the green is visible or not.
It's madness, but there is no method.
I tell you what else, Dean. You and I should fish the morning before the get together, and I'd like to go out before daylight.
Turn everything on.
Don't
forget.
I got something for you.
Hey, he loves Highway to the Danger Zone. He loves it.
Greatest Ozzy Osbourne song ever written.
And one thing I will say, add about light bars. So mine is mounted under the casting platform on the front of the boat.
That's
beyond
what Scott,
the bow of the boat.
Gotta be on
when
the bow.
It is on, it does not light up the boat. If you put a burn bar like on your console, on the bar above the windshield, I mean, that will never help you see what's out there. I mean, it definitely affects. So when you're rigging your boat, think about where you're putting that light. It is far forward and low as possible.
Yeah, you saw mine, Scott. That's what I was going to tell you. I've seen so many on the tower, on the very top of the tower, and I'm like, well, he just wants to look cool because he's going to blind himself, even in the somewhat of a light. It just blinds you.
Yeah, mine's I have the top drive, and for whatever reason they mounted it underneath the top drive. I mean, so it's just above eye level and right in front of me. Right,
that's why you don't use it.
Right where the windshield is. Yeah, and so it lights up the whole front end of the boat.
Well, shameless plug for my sponsors here, but flashlights, they cost more money, but they do have a light that is very directional. It doesn't have like a lot of bleed below it.
Yeah.
And of course the deck still lights up, but it isn't the glaring sun like it used to be in the older ones. And that's a big reason why my front casting platform folds in half. So when I do have that long run back from 9 Mile or something, and I do turn that light on, if there's a tower on the front of the boat, it's lights out, pun intended. You're cooked.
And I will say, I'm not a partner with Fleshlight, but that's what I bought. That's the first thing I bought. I bought the little shorter one. I want to say it's like 10 or 12 inches, and put it right on the front of the bow. You're right. Like when I do need it, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, look, really John, let's address this question about need a light from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. if I'm on a kayak. It has nothing to do with the time of day. It is the amount of visibility. So you can have, it can be high noon and you get fog and you get clouds. You're required to turn your lights on in limited visibility. There's no time of day that dictates when your lights are supposed to be on. It's when you can't see.
Yeah. Other things. Do you have anything? I thought.
Yeah, I did. I just got a text message that makes a lot of sense to me, and it's directed towards Dean. Dean, if there's too bright, you're too old. The most astigmatisms are acting up. That's your problem.
I did want to get to this. If there's any other, and this is sort of up to you guys if you have anything in mind, spirit of the law versus the actual law, because the one that I thought of was, and Scott has mentioned this a few times on the podcast, like when there's a pot liquor coming right up next to you, and they act like they don't see you. Okay, not a good look, but whatever. If there's a boat that is stuck or, whatever, they've got the cowling off, you could tell that they are in need of some help. That don't fly. I mean, the law is the law, Scott. That doesn't fly. You have to render aid. Maybe some of our listeners don't know that. They're like, oh, somebody else will get them, that type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody's out there and they're in trouble, I mean, not only is it the right thing to do, it is, as captain, we are required to go lend assistance. But the problem is sometimes you can't tell.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you really can't tell if now they start waving their arms. Are they waving because they're pissed off you got too close? Or are they waving their arms? Yeah, you got to read the situation. If the cowling's off, that's a good clue.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned that. James says Dean renders
and pick up anybody. Felons out waiting around in the middle of the bay for no damn reason.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if there was anything else that you guys like. Okay, well, there's the law, but spirit of the law, maybe pro or con.
That's the law of karma. If you know somebody needs assistance and you knowingly pass them by, get ready for something to go wrong to yourself in the near future.
Yeah.
Because, and then there's a difference, I towed a guy in a couple weeks ago in the channel, and as I was going by, I mean, there's a difference in how people wave when they need help and whenever they're just waving at you. It tends to be a little more dramatic, a little more, hey, help me, kind of a wave. So you never want to leave somebody out there broken. It's going to mess up a small portion of your day, but there has to be a camaraderie out there amongst with folks, and a good deed goes a long way.
We also grew up in a different time, Dean.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There was no towboat. There wasn't a sea tow.
Yeah.
The only thing you had was other boaters.
You spend the night out there. You spend the night out there if you don't get help.
And in those back in the day, so the friendly wave, boaters pass each other, they wave. Back in the day when nobody had a cell phone and nobody had this, that wave was a confirmation that I'm good, or there was a legit camaraderie amongst boaters. Nowadays, nobody gives a crap about nobody, and that's just a simple fact. However, I have really been trying to bring back the friendly wave. Every single boat that passes me by, hey, I give them the high sign. Hey, how you doing?
Get a light. Get a light. Except for kayakers without a light. Except for kayakers.
I waved at him too.
Have I ever told y'all the story of how I met Adam Weller, who is always in our chat?
Yeah, I think he might be here today. Go ahead.
We were putting into a back lake, and I come around a corner. I got 2 or 3 customers with me, and there's this boat just sitting dead ass in the middle of where I need to go, and it's shallow. I got to go. And I tell my customer, I said, this is the idiot we talk about that parks in the middle of the cut. This is him right here. And I yelled at them, I need to jump. And they both start waving back and say, yeah. I was like, well, at least they're cool about it, y'all. And I hammered it, smoked them. Boom. I get about 300 yards past them, and my customer tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, I think he said he needs a jump. I was like, oh. So I turned around, went back over there, and sure enough, they had a dead battery just sitting right in the middle of the canal. Hey, y'all need a jump? Yeah, why'd you drive past us like that? Trying to get you off that reef, boys. I don't know.
Yeah, the waves.
I know you're good.
Or on a reef, you know.
Or yeah, one or the other. All right, do want to get to the funny looking clouds, because this was, boy, you talk about good karma. I don't know how I deserved it, but so we were out there actually on some fish, nothing great, but on some fish with my son, and catching some trout. And all of a sudden, I look back there, and I'm like, okay, let's keep an eye on that. I didn't even open my radar, my weather app, and then I see another group of clouds, dark clouds from the opposite end coming in. And he goes, I think they're moving in the other direction. And I said, they're not moving in the other direction. Let's go. And so we booked it, probably about a 15, 20-minute run. And I'm telling you, and Dean can attest, because I got in right before he did. As soon as my boat got underneath the marina cover, all hell broke loose. I mean, I could not have been luckier. I ended up sitting there for over an hour as a torrential storm was on us. And Dean, you have the back end of this story, and then the next day you weren't quite so lucky.
Yeah, well, and I was probably less than 5 minutes behind you pulling into the marina, and I actually posted pictures and sent you guys. That was the one of that cloud. And as we were watching that, I actually told everybody on the boat about the funny looking cloud story, where I was actually fishing like maybe a half a mile from where the original unfortunate event took place that day. But the thing about that one is, as it was coming towards us, it was building beside us as well. And so the lightning came out of almost like the clear part of the sky. So there was like a second storm that was brewing. And then I'm sitting there and I'm telling the guys on the boat, I was like, man, I said, we don't want to risk this. I said, if we can run to the marina, I says, we can come back. I said, it is much better to be there wishing we were here instead of here wishing we were there. And so, yeah. And that day, I mean, when we sat there, whenever you were down in your slip and I was in mine, I mean, I couldn't even get up and unlock the gate. And that lightning was cracking right over our heads. So excellent decision to not be out there. However, the next day,
not so excellent.
The storm that brewed cut me off from my escape. And it was actually more frightening in the sky. And so we're making that run. And I mean, it started raining and it was getting worse. And I was telling the guys, it's like, man, I don't want to cut y'all short. I said, but we can't really sit here through this. And I got like halfway back, actually pulled up behind Hog Island, because it's a big island. It's got a lot of good windbreak. And so we parked up against the bushes there, let the storm. The good thing about that one, there was no lightning. It was just pouring down rain. We had no lightning on the second day. If there would have been lightning cracking off, we probably would have just had to take it and get in. I would have kept moving towards shelter. But we pulled up there, let it rain. And then in the end, 15, 20 minutes of rain. Then we had beautiful sunshine and we went back to fishing for the rest of the day.
Yeah. But I think the story here, Scott, is this time of year, more than others, you got to be light on your feet, man, because it's not like a front. It's not a front that you see and you can gauge and go, okay, here it comes. We got about a half hour. No, it's a little spot here that all of a sudden they come together and you're toast. You got to be light on your feet this time of year.
Yeah, I watch the cloud tops quite a bit. And when I see them getting tall, it's like, here we go.
Yeah.
And I judge things by what I can, can I see the water tower in Port O'Connor?
Yeah.
Nope. Well, we're not going to Port O'Connor right now. We're going to stick around out here for a little bit. That's the only good thing about these here lately. Most of them have been pretty
on
isolated
the shore too.
and pretty small.
Yeah.
They have had some water spouts in them from time to time. That one y'all were talking about, I was looking at it from a different angle and watching it go get y'all. It had a couple water spouts on the backside of it.
Yeah.
And they were more like San Antonio Bay. But I was out on the beachfront watching all that occur. And as soon as Dean said that, sure, some funny looking clouds, I started looking around.
Oh no, it's happening again.
No, like I had one that was building up just to the north of me there, and I was watching the cloud tops, and they were getting tall, and still going up. And that's when I told my guy, I said, "Yeah, I think we're probably about out of time here." You know, we were towards the end of the day anyway, but it was time to go on, head on in. Hell, the other day when I had the fly guy out with me, he hooked a jack. It was a big old storm over Port O'Connor, and we couldn't see the town, but it wasn't over us. And he hooked a jack on a fly, which you all know how long that takes.
Yeah.
By the time he landed that thing, the storm had moved over and was on us, and we landed it in the pouring down rain, and then took off for the jetties and headed in the other direction and just got around it. I mean, it was bright sunshine and pretty, not a mile away, mile and a half.
Man.
So that's how you got to deal with it in the summertime.
Yeah.
And just keep your head on a swivel, keep looking, and that little thing in your pocket, that little radar, sure has been coming in handy lately.
Yeah, you can see them developing.
It was actually kind of funny because we've been in this drought forever, and whenever it was kind of a new experience, man, I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, what do we do?
Wait a minute, rain.
And the second day, I was way more prepared to make the decision. So, but
it didn't work out. First day it did.
Yeah, kind of.
You were better prepared, but you screwed up.
But that's the difference between it building behind your escape route or in front of your escape route.
Yeah,
you have to make the decision a little sooner.
And the other thing for our listeners is not just be light on your feet, but do what Dean did. You know, you know the bay you're in probably, or at least well enough. You see things, kind of plan that. Okay, if I get caught, I'm going there. You know, whether it's
you got to have a bail out.
Yeah, whether it's a dock at somebody's. I've done that. I've told the story on here where I wrote out a nasty one in somebody's dock, or an island with a lot of cover, or something like that. You know, you gotta have that alternate plan.
We were talking about that too with the guys on the boat, and I told him, I said, if the lightning is cracking, you just have to get lower than your buddy over there.
Yeah,
Dean's done that to me before. Dean paddled a kayak laying down. Laying flat on his back and was still paddling. And I glanced up and said, what the hell are you doing? He says, getting lower than you.
You know what
every man for himself in that situation.
And you know what I always tell my people on my boat, we'll be fine as long as we don't have any rods in the boat. So as long as we're not on a boat,
throw all your fishing poles overboard.
We'll be fine.
Worst one I ever saw was San Luis Pass at that old KOA camp. We all ran from one of these little pop-ups that was full of lightning. I mean, that thing was popping. And it came in from offshore, and everybody ran into the KOA camp. We all nosed up there. There's just enough room for there's probably 10 or 12 boats sitting there. And the last guys in, everybody else, that was back in the days when we had the big, tall antennas for our VHFs. I laid my antenna down, laid all the rods down, everything's laid out. And these guys pulled in there, and they left everything up because they got in late. Everything's standing up, and they ran up, and we're all standing under the shelter there. And the light and the bang happened simultaneously.
Oh, yeah.
And smoked his boat. Absolutely smoked it. And burned up everything in it. Locked his engine up. I mean, everything in that boat was toast. Rods busted. It hit the antenna. And just traveled through the whole damn boat. And I'm telling you, after it was over with, went out there, and his engine was fried. It was locked up. Wouldn't turn over.
Jeez.
Yeah, that day when we were sitting at the marina the other day, that lightning it was cracking as soon as it lit up. It was it was way too close for comfort.
Yeah.
And that all those sailboats might have been one of them sailboats that got hit with
Yeah,
all
right
them,
next to where we are.
with
Yeah.
all those aluminum masts poking up.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know
just
how
pull
those
in
things
amongst
make it
the
through any
sailboat.
lightning.
I know exactly. Big old pole up there, aluminum or whatever it is. All right. What would Scott do? What would Dean do? Here's the question today for what you guys would do. No change in plans, or if you do get a little cool weather, you're going to do a little investigating, a little searching. What are you going to do, Scott?
You keep talking about cool weather like it's happening.
Not like cool cold, but some change, I should say. Yeah.
I mean, I've got east winds all weekend. We were supposed to take Bill out on Friday. Me and Dean was going to come down here. We were supposed to do this trip on Friday from the raft or the deal last year, the feeding frenzy, and they were going to come down here, stay at the house, and go out. And it is dead east at 2.4 at 5 seconds, 2.5, 2.7 at 5 seconds. That's
a little dicey. Yeah, it's a little dicey.
And so we put that off for a couple more weeks. I'd have to say I would stay in the bay and do a little wading or do a little poling. I mean, the winds aren't terrible, but they're straight out of the east, so that would suit me just fine for poling.
Yeah.
Go get in there and start poling down the shoreline with the sun coming up at my back. It's all bright sunshine. If you're wading, you can wade with the wind at your back and the sun at your back. Those are kind of my favorite mornings.
Those are great. Those are great.
You got plenty of sunshine over your shoulder, and you got the wind at your back to make a long cast. Works out good for sight casting.
And Dean, I'm guessing you're going to be drifting 15-mile-an-hour winds, 10 to 15. You might be doing some drifting, or no?
Yeah, I don't see me shifting gears due to this yet. And over the next couple of months, it's going to come up in conversation a lot with us, you know. But this one is not enough to shift any gears, just drifting in the wrong direction.
Yeah. And what kind of drift anchors are you going to have?
Got them shootouts shooting out.
Baby. We got some personalized ones, not personalized, well, logoed ones.
Customized.
I can't even testify that they work.
I wonder why.
I haven't even seen one yet.
They're badass.
I'll send you the link. You can order
one. I'll give you 2% off.
If we ever cross paths anytime in the near future.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to put it. Put a bow on it. We are going to cross paths with 500 of our closest friends at least on September 20th, less than 2 weeks away. So big fun show today. We covered a lot of stuff, covered a lot of ground. Appreciate it. You guys, we will see you soon next week. Of course, same time, same place. We never miss an episode. You guys have a great day, great week, great weekend. Catch them up. We'll talk to you next time. No hyperbole?
It was enough hyperbole.